Before one more question
Yes.
about database.
Yes.
What language is important for that?
See, RDBMS uses SQL, structured query language. Okay, all the RDBMS they use SQL called as structured query language. If you want to interact with Oracle, you need to use PL/SQL.
Can
Okay,
you type it?
yes, I've typed it. PL/SQL, procedural language oblique structured query language. And when you want to interact with the SQL server, you need to use TSQL. Both PLSQL, TSQL are the proprietary programming languages for the databases. See, these are not any full-fledged languages like Java, C Sharp, or say VB.NET, or anything like Python or Ruby. They are not full-fledged programming languages. You can write small chunks of code with the help of those. You can write just simple commands like one command at a time, or batch of commands you can write. So those batch of commands can be called as here a procedure or a function or a trigger or a package. Even you can create packages in Oracle. So either you can create packages, you can create procedures, you can write functions, you can write triggers. You write in that manner. So you are going to access in response. You are going to access them in response to certain events. So these are going to be small code blocks we write with the help of the PLSQL or with the help of the TSQL. They are not full-fledged programming languages. They are only meant for accessing the databases. Take
What's the
PLSQL.
difference between SQL and TSQL?
See, SQL is the standard.
Yeah,
SQL
I know
structured query
SQL too.
language. So, I mean, it's as per the ANSI, American National Standards Institute. SQL is not any particular software. First of all, it's only specification. So, it's a guidance how to use the commands which are actually prescribed in the SQL to interact with the database. But who has to implement all those commands? Some particular type of software is required. TSQL, we can call it as software in such cases. TSQL is nothing but some application we built using the SQL, or PLSQL is one such application we built using the SQL. So SQL we talk is basically its only specification from the American National Standards Institute, or there are some other standards body. They created some specification. According to that specification, you can write queries here. And whenever you want to interact with the databases, you can actually query database in two ways. One is action query, other one is what exactly? Select query. Action queries basically they perform certain actions like creation of database, insertion of data into that, a creation of table, retrieval also not action query, retrieval is select query, updation of data, deletion of data, dropping tables or dropping objects. All these commands are action queries. So at one time normally you can write only one command like select statement or insert or update. So these are called as plain SQL commands. These are nothing but plain SQL commands. SQL does not have any provision to execute more than one command at a time. It does not have any provision to execute more than one command at a time. So therefore, you need to execute them like a batch. In such cases, you can use either TSQL or PLSQL depending on the RDBMS you are using. If it's Oracle database, definitely you use PLSQL. If it is SQL Server, we use in such cases TSQL. So TSQL is nothing but here it can use both SQL commands as well as it can use the predefined commands of the SQL Server. Like programmatically you want to access, you want to use if condition in that, you want to run a while loop, or you want to access records one by one. So that is basically called as a cursor concept. You write a procedure, you want to pass parameters from external program to the procedure, whatever you write. It may be procedure or it may be function, you want to pass parameters. So all these you can do with the help of the PLSQL or TSQL depending on the RDBMS you are using. So
But
here,
PLSQL is like SQL like on Oracle, right?
yes.
So it's just pretty much you can do everything actually that you can do with SQL like with PLSQL as well.
Yes,
But
but see, there
it's
can be
just
minor
you can do
differences.
more.
Yeah, there can be minor differences between TSQL and PLSQL. The way you write code may be slightly differing. SQL code is going to be same, structured query language is going to be same, But when you want to use certain procedures or functions in the Oracle, for procedures and functions there are no standards. Procedures and functions are part of the Oracle database or SQL Server database. So when you want to create a procedure in the Oracle, you use one type of syntax, and when you want to use it in the SQL Server, you use another type of syntax. SQL
Okay.
commands does not have any provision for procedures, triggers, and functions. That nowhere you find such words in the SQL. Structured query language does not have any definition for the functions, procedures, or triggers. So these are available only with the concerned languages, like for example TSQL or PLSQL. Because if you look into SQL, you have there totally 5 different types of languages further when you divide SQL. One is what DDL, data definition language. With that, you create, you alter, you drop. So you can create resources or objects, you can alter the resource or objects, you can drop the resources or objects. So it's basically create command. Then second thing is alter command. So using alter command, you can be modifying the resources or objects. Okay, so similarly you have drop. With the help of drop, totally you can remove the resource or you can drop the object there. So they are basically DDL, data definition language. So that's basically called as data definition language. It's one of the languages available with the SQL. Second thing is going to be DML. So using DML, you can manipulate just data. You are going to manipulate data. That is selection of that is actually insertion of data into table. Using insert command, you insert. Using update command, you can be updating database tables. Similarly, you have there delete. Using delete command, you can be deleting data from the given table or tables. So it may be one table or it can be more than one table also you can be doing. So this is insertion, then updation, deletion. These are totally different from the DDL. In the DDL, creation, then altering, and other thing is for dropping. So in the case of drop, totally you drop the resource. You are going to delete totally the resource. But when you talk about delete, you are going to delete just data. You don't drop the structure there. Structure is going to be intact. Only data in that you are going to remove in the case of delete operation, which is part of the DML. Similarly, we have DCL. DCL is nothing but data control language. You may have number of users in the database. All the users will not have same privileges. All the users may not be holding same kind of privileges. So privileges may change from one user to another user. So privilege basically imposes certain restrictions on users to access what type of resource. So some users are permitted to just read data from the given tables. Some users are permitted to read as well as write data into table. So like that you can be granting and revoking permissions with the help of the data control language. It's called as DCL. So with the help of DCL, you are going to do such operations there. Then similarly, you have there other thing is TCL, transaction control language. We have transaction control language. As far as transactions are concerned, we use something like ACID. ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So these properties are related to transactions there. Atomicity meaning is, transaction meaning is sometimes more than one command at a time you execute. More than one SQL command you will be trying to execute at a time. Okay, so whenever you try to execute more than one command at a time, all these are related commands. For example, related in the sense, first command may be inserting some data into table. Second command is going to insert data related to the first command. So similar like that, you are executing more than one command at a time. All are related commands. So similar data probably you are manipulating with the help of those 3 different commands. So in such case, what happens? Due to some reason, first command is getting executed, second, third are not getting executed. So if it happens like that, you don't have the integrity of the database. So inconsistency is going to prevail in your database. So in such case, what happens? All the commands must be executed like one unit, or all must be getting cancelled. That we can enforce with the help of the transactions there. With the help of transactions, all the commands can be executed like one unit, or you can cancel all the commands like one unit only. So this you can achieve with the help of the transactions there. That is called as the atomicity. You may have n number of commands. When you are executing them, like one command only, it should be treated like atomic unit we are going to treat. So either it must be totally getting executed or totally must be getting rolled back. So like that we are going to work with the atomicity. Then second thing is consistency. We talk about that. Sometimes you can insert data, sometimes you can perform operation, sometimes you can't perform operation. That is not called as consistency. Always under given conditions, it should be working properly. That we can call as basically consistency. Then isolation. So in the case of isolation, what happens? More than one user may be logged into database. I am logging in, you are logging in. My session is session 1, your session is session 2. So my session should not interfere with your session. My session cannot see data of your session, or your session cannot see the data of mine. So if it's happening like that, it's called as isolation. So two sessions must be isolated there. And in the case of fourth option, it is reliability. So if you create database, you should be in a position to retrieve it properly. You should be backing up. So if required, you should be restoring it. All these you should be in a position to do. Then that is called as reliability. These four factors we use with the transactions basically. So with transactions, that comes under TCL. So in TCL, you use like commit, rollback, and other thing is going to be save point. These we have with the TCL. Then one more thing is going to be DQL, data query language. With the help of data query language, you are going to retrieve data. That is nothing but select statement we use. In the case of select statement, we may be fetching data from one table, or it may be from more than one table. In such cases, we can call it as joins. So we can have joins. Either we can have simple select statements, or we can be using joins, or it may be subqueries. One query in the other query you can write, that can be called as subqueries. So all these you are going to do, but this is the work of the database developer, not the application developer. Remember this point. It's the work of the database developer. It's not the work of the application developer. So application developer has to hook to database just. By using here JDBC classes, we need to hook to the database. Your database, already these must be created for us much before by the database development team. So we need to hook to those things with the help of the JDBC classes here. You have JDBC Java database connectivity. With the help of that, you are going to hook to the concerned database. Then whatever procedure you want to invoke, whatever function you want to invoke, and whatever table you want to access, you should be accessing it. So database totally must be shielded from normal developers. Developers should not know much about databases, and database developers definitely they don't bother about application because they work in their environment only. So database developers only should know about the databases, but application developers should not know much actually what's happening inside that. But before that, they should create some sort of interface. Using that interfaces, the database functionality must be exposed to the programmers here. Programmers can be called as your end users because they are just going to consume whatever interface or whatever features are available in the database. So for that purpose, we have procedures, we have functions, we can write sometimes inline SQL statements, but exactly how it is happening inside that without knowing only the programmer should work. So we need to isolate the database development from the application development. And with the help of the JDBC, we are going to get connected. We are going to be getting connected, the database as well as the application. So application is a different process, database is a different process. So here with the help of the inter-process communication, we are going to achieve it. And whenever you try to, share data among these two applications, your Java application is different, database application is different. These two can be called as different processes. Okay, database is running in its own instance, and your application is running in your area. From here, you need to share data among the databases. So in such cases, certain protocols you need to use again. Something like shared memory, or it may be named pipes, or it may be something like TCP/IP. You have database in a remote computer. It is physically in a different country, or in different city, or in different building. So in such case, what? It's remote. To access such database, you need to have TCP/IP enabled. TCP/IP must be enabled. Then only you can access the database. Similarly, physically, it may be in the same building. In the same building, it is you are working in a lab. In such cases, you need to have named pipes. It's one of the protocols, named pipes. With the help of that, you can achieve inter-process communication. Again, because
could you please write it? Could you please write it?
Yes, please. Yes, Stephen.
Could you please write it? You said actually if it's in the same building, then we use what?
That is going to be named pipes.
Name bytes.
No, named pipes.
Could you please write it?
Yes, I have written.
Named pipes.
Yes, it's named pipes. And whenever
that's inside the intranet, right?
Yes, in the intranet. If it is actually remote building in a different building, in such case we should use TCP/IP. because internally we
Sorry,
have
could you
one
please
network.
like, I mean, we can also write queries like in XML files and through the Hibernate, right?
Yes,
I
yes,
mean, it's like, and access the database and
correct.
write queries. We don't have to actually be database developer. We can just application developer and write queries in XML and
You can
actually
do.
run it in database.
Yes, yes, yes. No, but see, in the case of Hibernate, there are two approaches again with Hibernate. Database development, this is going to be code first or database first. There are two approaches, I just said. One is what code first, other one is what database first. There can be two approaches as far as
And
database development is
Professor,
concerned.
if you want to explain actually Hibernate later, then we just stop maybe here. If you want to explain total the Hibernate, because I know Hibernate is big.
Yes, yes. No, we look into Hibernate, we work with Hibernate. Definitely we do that. So, but here
So
see,
we
yes.
can talk about later.
Yes. Okay. So here, as I told you, TCP/IP. Then other thing is what you have there, named pipes. One more thing is going to be shared memory. With the help of that, we can be accessing. Database first, code first comes with a Hibernate. Even Hibernate also going to be working in the Java environment. That also has to get connected to database only again. Even in such case, you require these protocols. You require these protocols. So, but Hibernate usage depends on you. Already, if you know about the application, what has to be done exactly, you can go with database first approach. You develop database there. You can just marshal data in such cases. If you don't know how to, what are required in the application, in such case, you can use the Hibernate. But Hibernate usage not for development database to access data only. Normally, it should be used because secure database you cannot develop using Hibernate. When you are testing application at that time, probably you can use Hibernate, but in the real time scenario, you need to develop database separately and you need to get connected. That's the best way. When you test data, when you test your application at the time using Hibernate feature, you can develop database. Okay, time being only you'll be developing it, but in the real world environment, it is not recommended actually. Development of database is not recommended, but accessing database is recommended with the Hibernate. Okay, so now let us look into JUnit. In the case of JUnit, Gaurav, hello Gaurav.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I mean your doubts are they clear?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so. Thank you very much for explaining.
So this is now JUnit. With the help of that, you can do unit testing. What exactly unit test is? You write some piece of code. As soon as you write your code, you need to test that whether it's working properly or not. That is called as unit testing. So testing is different area again. Testing is basically meant for quality control. So it's not quality assurance. It's going to be called as quality control. There are two different areas. One is quality control. Other one is quality assurance. So quality control in that you find out whether there is quality or not in the given code or in the given application. So quality assurance, you need to assure quality by following certain standards in every sphere of development activity. In every sphere of development activity, you need to see that you are following procedures there. Well-laid procedures when you follow, definitely quality can be guaranteed there. So you need to follow some procedures what we write. It is not stored procedure or it is not trigger. So I'm talking about the normal procedures, your work procedures, how you work. You may write procedures. Those you need to follow. With that, quality can be guaranteed. People often use the quality control and quality assurance as both same. They are totally different. In the case of quality control, you are going to check whether the code is having required quality or not. Whether you have written quality code or not, they can find out. That is going to be the help of the testing. But quality assurance is not just only with the testing. In every sphere of development activity, there should be quality. Right from the requirements gathering, then designing, then after that, the implementation part, in testing, and later on also in maintaining. In every activity, you need to follow standards. Then it can be quality can be guaranteed. Quality is going to be guaranteed. Quality assurance by practicing standards, you enforce quality. Assurance is quality is assured when you follow certain standards practices. So quality control is going to be basically testing the given piece of code, whether it's meeting requirements or not, you can do that. So therefore, here quality control we do with the help of the testing. But unit testing does not talk anything about the quality control, that is done by the testing people. Again, when you take testing, you have integration testing, then you have smoke test, stress test, load test. There are so many tests, database test. There are going to be different testings, normally done by the testers. Testing team people, they do, or quality control people, they are going to be doing it. Test engineers, they do all those things. But being developers, we need to do unit testing. So unit testing can be manual or it can be again automated. Okay. So here with the Java, we use JUnit. JUnit is nothing but open source testing framework for Java programmers. They use the JUnit. With the help of that, they can test Java applications. So this JUnit is open source testing framework for Java programmers. So Java programmers can create test cases and test their code. You have test suite, and in the test suite you have test cases. Test case may be something like this. For example, you are logging into some kind of system. So when you want to log into system, how you can test it? First of all, whether you entered proper username or not, whether password is entered or not. When you enter username and password, whether it's authenticating or not. So like that, you can be testing that. So while if you don't enter the valid username, it should give some kind of message. So when you enter username, suppose you need to enter only email. In such case also, it should give you some kind of message there. It is called as basically, say we call that as regular expressions. Using certain patterns, you can find out whether you entered valid email ID or not. So like this, we need to test, in different ways. That comes under basically unit testing. So unit testing, JUnit is what? It's basically a test framework which is given for us. It's open source. So Java developers can use JUnit. With the help of that, they can do automated testing. So to do unit testing normally, we create test cases. The unit test case is a code which ensures that the program logic works as expected. In the expected manner, the code is working or not, we can find out with the help of the here JUnit. Using JUnit, you are going to write here test cases. So test cases are going to give you, or they are going to ensure that the program logic works as expected. If it's not working as per expectation, it is going to be some bug in the code. Bug meaning is syntactically it may be correct, but you get unexpected result, that can be called as bug. Bug meaning is what? It's improper behavior of the code. Code, if it's not behaving properly, it's called as a bug. When you compile, there are no errors. It does not mean that it's bug free. So bug is more and more related to the logic. What logic you are putting, it is related to, the bug is related to logic. Bug is not actually compilation error, neither runtime error nor compilation error. So runtime also working fine, compilation also fine, but still you are getting unwanted result. So that is basically called as a bug. So we can find out bugs with the help of the unit testing here. So normally when you compile, if any compilation errors are there, it can expose those errors. In the runtime, with the help of the try-catch block, you can expose such errors. But logic errors, how do you show? With the help of the testing only, with the help of unit testing, you can actually find out logic errors. So what are the errors in the logic? You can find out. When you have a logic error in your code, it's called as a bug. Normally when you develop applications, first developers in the development environment, they develop code. They have to test it. Then after that, the code is moved into, say, unit testing area. It's moved into unit testing area. So, sorry, it's not unit testing. It's moved into what we say exactly staging area. In the staging area, it is going to be tested by third-party people. You may write some piece of code, you test it thoroughly, you certify that your code is working fine. Still, it's not acceptable. So here in the test staging area, some third-party people, they come and test your code. That comes under staging. So in staging, if any problems are there, they should be detected. If you have any bugs, they should be detected in the staging area. Okay. So if everything is getting passed through staging area, the problem is not with the developers. Like that, we come to conclusion. But whenever you move your application into production environment, if it is giving errors, that is called as a bug leak. Bug leak is not acceptable. So either in the development area or in the staging area, the bug should be detected. So test cases must be efficient to test like that. If test cases are failing to detect any bugs, the bug will be leaked to production environment. In the production environment, there should not be any bugs. If you have any bug in the production environment, there can be so many problems. Yesterday, I tell you one case. In India, it happened. Okay. See, due to some program mistake, there is a bank called as SBI. It's called as State Bank of India. Due to some mistake in their code, one one customer of the bank, into that person's account, lot of money got actually deposited. Money has been transferred into that person's account, lot of money, some millions of rupees actually. They have been actually around 970 million, I think. That many rupees they got transferred into the person's account. Of course, later on, bank people they detected, then they have frozen the account, but due to bug, that means that there is a bug with the code, because of that it all happened. So we need to take precautions in the production environment. There should not be any bugs. But these days, what is happening? We are in a hurry to release new versions because there is a lot of competition. So in that hurry, we are forgetting to test it properly. Thorough testing is not done. Without testing thoroughly, we are releasing versions. Due to that, we are getting so many bugs. Yesterday, this incident took place in India. So around 970, I think, million rupees actually got transferred to one person's account. The person may not be having just 90,000 rupees also, but all of a sudden the person has got about 970 million rupees. It is due to some bug in the program code. So you should be writing bug-free code. Then only, they don't lose in the business. Otherwise, in the business, they are going to lose a lot. So therefore, bug tracking is going to be very, very important. So with the help of unit testing, you can track the bugs. Normally, that you can do with the help of the TDD, test-driven development. You can overcome such problems. You can, reduce to a great extent the bugs. So unit testing you can do in two ways. One is what? Manual testing. Other one is going to be automated testing. So if the application is tested manually, it is known as manual testing. It is time consuming and less reliable. It's not going to be reliable. And one more thing is what? It is going to be consuming a lot of time. So it's going to be time consuming and it is not going to be reliable. Again, there also while testing, human beings may commit mistake because we are prone to errors. Human beings are prone to errors. We are not versatile. Then other thing is we don't like actually, repetition job. If you have to test repeatedly, definitely we don't like it. Therefore, manual testing is prone to errors again. It's going to be, it's prone to errors. So therefore, you can go with the automated testing. You write some piece of code, you will be testing by entering different values. That is normally called as manual testing. You need to write different test cases. Using those test cases manually, you may be testing it. But manual testing is always may not be working. First of all, they are going to be consuming time. Second thing, they are not going to be reliable. So they may give problems for us. There is no guarantee. You executed all the test cases properly. You need to just trust person. You need to believe in that person. But there is no guarantee. It's not reliable kind of testing. But when you go with the automated testing, it's going to be reliable. So test cases are executed by testing tools. It's called as automated testing. If you are, executing test cases with the help of some tool, that can be called as here automated testing. So it's very fast and reliable. It's going to be reliable as well as very fast. Okay. So using JUnit, we can be writing now the test cases. So today we write simple test case. We understand how that's going to work. Tomorrow, little bit complex one, we can do it. Whenever you write any piece of code, immediately even you should write the test case. If you write like that, that will be better. Any questions on this, Firas? Hello, Firas.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Any questions, please?
Can you hear? No, it's clear.
Okay. So you can go with the unit testing here with the manually, or you can do automation. With the help of automation, you can test, or manually also you can be doing it. Now let us manually every day we test. You write some piece of code, you pass values, whether it's working correctly or not, you are testing it. That is nothing but manual testing. But without writing any test cases, we do it. Normally you can write test case, with the help of test case, you can be testing it. So that is basically called as black box kind of testing. So black box testing we do normally testers, black box testing is going to be basically without opening the code. So externally we are going to work. You invoke the command, then you pass parameters, it's working or not, you try to find out that. That is called as totally black box testing. So inside that what is there you don't know. You perform normally black box testing with the help of that it's working or not. Functional testing we try to do. But as a developer, you can do unit testing. As soon as you write some piece of code, you have to test it. As soon as you finish some piece of code, you need to test it. That is called as basically unit testing. So unit testing we are going to do with the help of the JUnit now. So here, let us try to first of all write some program. Then we try to write for that a test case. See, this is very important. Unit testing is very, very important. I mean, they are going to be asking you in the interview at the same time in the development environment also they are going to ask you. So therefore, you have to know about this testing here. Okay. So here.
Can we see your screen, sir?
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. We're discussing just correct. Fine. I think you can see now.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was thinking about actually while we were discussing, I could not share that. Here, see. Now, unit testing, the project name, we write like this. It is going to be now unit testing. So under this, first of all, I would like to write a class. I just want to write a class under this. The class name I call as math operations. I want to put a class name called as math operations. This does not contain any main method. It's not going to contain any main method. I'm just writing a POJO here. It may contain a method. It's going to contain some method. This is called as here plain old Java object. Such thing I'm trying to make here. But this may contain some method. That method is going to be static method I put here inside this. Put like this here, public, then static, followed by here I put like this int, here find maximum number, max number, put like this. Here I try to pass in fact an array, int num. Like this I am trying to pass an array into this. I am trying to pass an array into this here. So this should be returning a value for us. This should be returning a value. Here I write this way, int max equal to put 0 like this, followed by here inside this I use a for loop. For int write like this, I equal to 0, I less than ar, this is going to be what, num dot length I can use. This can give you the size of array. Then here it is I plus plus. Do like this. I want to find out maximum number from the given array there. So here put like this if condition. If this is what exactly? If max less than num of I. So if max less than num of I, therefore what I write, max equal to num of I can put here. Like this I am trying to find out a maximum number from that. And here at the end I can return a value, return max. Okay, return max, writing like this. This is going to be an integer array I am passing here. I can pass an integer array to the find max number. Now after this, I go with a main method. I'm going to work with the main method here. I write some other class. When you test manually, what happens, we see here. Now come to new here, followed by in this a class I write here. Then in this is JUnit, unit tester main method class I put. Like this, I make this class. It's going to contain here main method. Okay, here I declare an integer array int some x or max only I write here. Int max I'm going to put here. Okay, followed by I try to create one integer array. Int nums equal to, try to make some number this way, 10, 12, 78, 99, 45. Like this I can make it. If I write max equal to, what is the method? Just I have written math operations I have written there. Come to the
Fine. That's number.
yes. So here max equal to math, class name is, so what's it? Okay, it should be written like this. Dot, we can find here find max number. Here I want to create some integer data, integer array. I just want to pass into this. I can create integer array this way here. I can go with the new int, followed by here I can specify, sorry, already I created there, not required. I can put this as nums. I can be passing like this. Okay, I can be passing like this. Once again, what I do, I come to this point. Here, see, we find like this here. System dot. Here, one more point I would like to tell you. Here, import. Then followed by here, I can use some static keyword. I can use some static keyword. With the help of that, I can make it. This one is what import, then static. This is what Java dot lang dot. This is star system. I put like this. System dot star. I can put like this. I'm importing like static in this. When I import static like this, straight away I can use the static method. I can be using here straight away the static method. Here write out dot println. I can use out dot println max here. I'm going to write out dot println max. This time I'm not writing system because this is nothing but a static object. Out is nothing but static object. Therefore, normally what I write, system dot out I write. But instead of that, just I can write now out only. So import static java dot lang dot system. So static resources you can access with the help of the import static. Whenever you have any static method or any static resource, you can access with the help of the import static keyword. Now here out dot println max we have written. Next thing here, we declare another array followed by n1. It is another array I'm trying to make here. -1, then -2, -10, then this is -1000. We put like this. We put -1000. Then here, once again, try to call same thing here. Okay, we take like this, and here in this is going to be n1. This is going to be n1 here. Okay. Now, when we run this, what output we get? Here write maximum of -1, comma, -2, this is -10, comma, -1000 is put like this. And here I put maximum of 10, then 12, then other thing is what? 78, then 99 and 45. What value you get in this? Let us see in this. What result we are going to get from this? But see this, instead of putting comment, try to put here out.println. Put like this. That would be better. On the top also,
Yeah, this is clear more.
it's more meaningful. Out.println.
Can't we import out also? So we say println only.
No, you can't. Out is required actually. So here what we do? What is the result normally we expect in this? In the first case, it may print 99. In the next case,
99.
it has to print, correct?
-1, yes.
But what happens see in this? What happens to the result? See here in this.
Nothing will happen. It will work. Okay.
It works, but what output we get see? Maximum of 10, 12, 78, 99, 45, 99. But maximum of -1, -2, -10, -1000 is 0, it is saying. How it is 0?
Oh yeah, because 0 is bigger than them. Yes, that's right.
This is the bug leak. Normally, such bug leaks occur in the code.
Yeah.
Understood point here? Normally what we do, we try to work with the first one. When you try to work with first one, everything is working fine, we feel. So code is correct, we feel. But here what happens? It's not giving you correct result here. It's giving you 0. There is no 0 inside this. We should get -1. Taral, are you following this?
Yes, sir.
So where is the problem then?
Sorry.
No, where is the problem here? Where is the problem with the, where do you find problem in this? Any compilation problem?
Problem
Or runtime
is that-
error? Or where exactly the problem is?
No. The initial value of max is the problem because it was 0. That's a
Yes.
problem.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's a runtime error.
This is a problem with the coding, in fact. This is called as bug leak. Logic is wrong in the code. When you look at the code, the logic is wrong in this. So,
Yeah.
logically it is wrong. If you go to math operations, what we have done in this, we have taken int max equal to 0. And what is the condition we are keeping here inside this? For int I is 0, I less than num dot length, I plus plus. What condition we kept here? If max less than num of I. Max value is 0, but num of I is how much there? -1. So it is not meeting condition there. Therefore, it's not getting changed here. Correct?
Correct.
So this way, you have a bug leak in this. This can be called as a kind of bug which is coming. So code looks fine only. It looks fine, but very, very small point this one is. Very small point. Such points you need to expose with the help of automation. Easily you can expose such things. Okay, you can expose such things very easily. Now let us try to write here some kind of a test class we write. With the help of test class, we are going to do it. Let us try to write one test class. With the help of test class, we try to do that. So go to the code in this, try to write here a test case. It's going to going to be new here. Try to write here JUnit test case. You have this template available. So using this JUnit test case, you can write the test case. Put the name for it. This is what math operations test case. Put like this. So math operations test case, we have certain methods like we discuss regarding them later on. So set before class, test, tear down after class, setup, tear down, we discuss about them later on. So this is what exactly math operations test case. It is inheriting from the object class. It's part of the JUnit. We are using new JUnit for test. That package we are going to use with the help of that. We try to do it. Now click on finish. So here, like this, we have written this piece of code. So whenever you go with the testing, we use here one assert class. Assert class is going to provide methods to assert the program logic. It's going to provide some kind of assert there. So with the help of assert, we are going to do that particular thing. So here we are trying to do some kind of assertions here. Assert class provides methods to assert the program logic. We have different methods in the assert class. So they are going to be, on the top it is written import static org.junit.assert.star. So with the help of this, you can straight away call the methods without using the class name. You can be calling the method because we are importing static. Import static org.junit.assert we have written. So since we are writing the assert, whatever static public methods are available, you can use them straight away in this code. You can test, you can do here in this. This one is what exactly? Math operations we are trying to write here. Then we need to write a test case. We are trying to write a test case in this. I comment this. Yes, please.
Damn it.
So let me write here some test case. What I do in this, first of all, I write a method using the annotation called as test annotation I can use. So annotations can be compile time, you can use runtime, you can use. In different ways annotations can be useful. They give you metadata information. So this method is going to be a testing method like that. It directs the compiler. This one is @test. We write here public, then this is void, followed by what exactly we test it, test, right, like this here, test followed by find maximum value. Like this we try to write it. We write maximum value this way, then inside this we write the assertions. Okay, if you look at
I'm sorry, could you please say that again? What was the actual annotation for?
Annotations basically they give you metadata information. For example, test find maximum value method you are writing. What method this is? It's a test method. Like this it's saying here. Annotations are nothing but these we use as decorations to tell the compiler or to tell the runtime environment. So to tell the runtime environment or to tell the compiler, it is a test method. So in this case, it's saying test method. Okay. So like this, these are nothing but annotation. With the help of annotation, you are giving some information related to this method here. This method is not test method. It can understand like this when you put @test. Sometimes what happens similarly, we write ignore deprecated. Sometimes @ we use ignore deprecated. So it does not bother about the deprecated methods. Come to here this one. You may write on the top. You can put here like this. Here I put @ ignore deprecated. Like this I can put. So otherwise ignore deprecated here. Just write. Otherwise here we put at the rate deprecate. I mean ignore deprecated. This is going to be some type of some sort of deprecated. What it says. Result your type. Okay, I put like this here. What I exactly do is I try to write some piece of code in this. Do like this. It is going to be show you how that is. Import java dot util dot star. Okay, in this we write here date dt equal to new date. I put here like this. I can create a new date. Like I'm making here int here equal to, I can write dt dot. Here these are nothing but deprecated. We can say dt dot get, say year I want to use, semicolon you put here. Now what is happening in this? It's giving you like this. You can put the suppress warnings. You can put on the top add suppress warnings. Here you can put like this at suppress warnings. Okay. For the method name. If it's not getting added, then try to add here. With the help of this, we can fix in fact this one. So move into this. Here add suppress warnings in this. We can be putting like this. This is called as basically a annotation, we can say. This is nothing but here annotation. So with the help of this, what happens? It does not show any warning. It's not going to show any warning. So at the time of compilation, it will be used. This is called as exactly some kind of metadata information. This is what exactly it is, a deprecated method. Add at the rate suppress warnings deprecation int year equal to get year we have written. Now at the rate deprecated also we can use. You can write here at the rate deprecated. So just a minute. If you look at this once again, deprecated. We put here like this. Java blank deprecated we have there. On the top, put it at the rate deprecated. You can put like this. So what happens with the help of this? Even you put like this here. They are not going to give you any warnings. All these are nothing but attributes. With the help of that, we can put here. With the help of this, we can in fact tell the compiler, do not bother about the deprecate methods. All these are nothing but annotations. You are going to put metadata information with the help of the annotations. We can embed information related to these methods here. When you say get here, this get here is going to be, normally you get a warning when you try to compile. But this time it does not show warning. Reason, we are adding there on the top deprecated. So deprecated we have written, because of that it's going to be working. So these can be called as here. These can be called as basically the annotations. We can use annotations for at the time of compilation, at the time of runtime, they are going to be available. So they will be used very much with the reflection again. We have a reflection feature. With the help of that, an object can be self-introspected. At the time, we can use it. So such things can be called as here annotations. Compiler as well as runtime environment, they can understand about the methods here in this. So this method is going to be accepting here deprecated kind of thing. So here remove this. Then here what you write, this is at the rate suppress warnings deprecation. So it's not going to show any warnings. Like this you can be getting here metadata information. Deprecated methods can be used. It does not show any warning when you compile. Like this you can tell the compiler or tell the environment with the help of the annotations. You embed metadata information. So same thing we are doing in this here. What we kept exactly at the rate test we are keeping. With the help of that, it's going to treat it as a test method. Methods can be normal execution methods and they can be test methods. This one is nothing but here test method we are writing. Then here we try to use assert equal to. Whenever you come to this math operations here, okay, assert equal to, we try to find out in this. Assert equal to, we try to get like this. Assert equals, take like this, followed by, in this, we use some value 4. I want to use here value 4 I would like to use. So from this, I want to call the, which one, that is math operations dot followed by find max number. I can be calling here find max number, but inside this I require some data. So therefore I declare like this. This one is new int. Like this we take, and inside this we try to specify data 1 comma -2 comma 3 then 4. Like this I'm trying to write here. So I'm going to write like this. So this test may fail or succeed. What is saying in this? One more bracket is required. We put like this. So here assert equal, the method should be returning 4. In such cases this can be success. Like this we are taking 1 -2 3 4. How many values you have there? 4 different values are available. Maximum number is how much in that? 4 that is. So whether that is succeeding or not, we are checking with this. Similarly, you can write here assert equals. One more also we try to write. This is going to be, I put -1 here. Once again I put same thing, math operations, then dot, this is find max number. Then here I can be specifying the data. I put here new int. Then inside this try to specify data like -10. Then this is what exactly, -10 -20. Then this is going to be -3, some -5 I try to put. What is the maximum of these things? -1 is not available in this. I put even here -1. Okay, I'm going to put even -1 in this. Whether this gives -1 or not, check. Because of these numbers, -10, -20, -3, -5, -1, -1 is the maximum number. Whether this gives -1 or not, let us try to check there. So this is basically what assert equals. With the help of assert equals, so if it is matching, then that can be returning true, otherwise it returns false there. It's going to be checking for the condition here. Assert equals, it's checking here. With the help of that, it is going to be giving you the value. So here assert equals, followed by, in this we take the two numbers. The first one is number, second one is also nothing but a number which is coming from the find max number there. So first test case can be succeeding, second one can be failing in that. It's going to be failing the second one. Now go to here, this unit test actually we have. Go to the unit test math operations test case, right click on this, followed by here run as JUnit test, showing you like this. What exactly it's saying here? Test find maximum value is here failing. One failure you can find in this. You are finding in this one failure in such here in this. Expand, click on this, you can see it. In how much time it is, this is failing in this. You can find here how this is failing. So this one is failing, showing you. Showing like this, this is getting failed here. It's going to fail. So therefore, here the math test is failing for us. Test find maximum value. We are trying to run this method. So the method is failing in this. At this point, it's failing for us. Reason, it cannot give you -1 since that is giving you 0 there. What it says, expected -1, but it was 0. It was giving you 0, but what expected exactly from that? -1 was expected, but we are hitting 0. So due to that, it is actually failure. Understood here this point? First one is success, no problem with the first one. But with the second one, you have a problem because we were expecting a -1, but it was giving us 0 there. You can find here Java lang.assertion error expected -1, but it's showing 0 there. So therefore, there is a bug with the given code. Since there is a bug with given code, it cannot be working here. As we expect, it's not working. So like this, you can be testing the code.
What did you push to make it test again?
Yes.
What button?
1 minute. So close this. Now let me once again
No,
test it. What I should do?
Right maximum number, sir.
Yes, yes, which one? Firas? Hello? Adam, you're saying something?
Put
What
here
button
4.
did you push to test it?
You say assert equal false.
Yes. Assert equals 4. You have here 4 math operations, find max number. What is the array we are passing there? 1, -2, 3 and 4. So from this can retrieve value.
No, what's 4, please?
Can you repeat please? 4. 4 is the expected value. I'm expecting value from this array. In the array, what are the numbers available? 1 is available, -2 is available, 3 is available, 4 is
I
available.
couldn't hear you.
Yes. Hello?
You are giving the expected value now?
Yes. See, the array is containing 4 elements. 1, -2, 3 and 4. So this should be giving you 4 value. But if it is giving 4 value, in such case, the method is succeeding. In the second case, I am expecting -1 because what values I have in this? -10, -20, -3, -5, -1. So which one is bigger in those? You have here 5 different values. -10, -20, -3, -5, -1. But what I have to get from that? Because those are the numbers. Maximum of those numbers is going to be -1. So I should get -1. Therefore, what I assume here, the result value is -1. So I'm trying to run this method. When I'm running it, it's giving here error. So it's giving error here. It says test
No, I know.
failed.
No.
Yes, Firas?
Now you. I couldn't hear you now, sir. In these 2 comments, assert equals, you give the expected value.
Yes.
That's correct value. Let's say should be returned.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
From
But
this.
you are using now array of.
Yes.
Okay, you are using now array of 4 elements.
Yes. 4 elements.
What
One-
about array of 100 elements? How can I know?
Here I am typing. See, this is testing. You are testing it. Whenever you test, you try to pick values like this only. You are passing here. It is testing. It's not runtime environment. You are testing it. When you test, you need to go with such assumptions only. You give set of values. Whether it's working correct or not, you can find out there. 1, -2, 3 and 4 I have given. In such case, it's working. That means what? You are getting correct value. This is testing. In the case of testing, you have to experiment like this. Now in the case of second one, what is happening here? Assert equals, I am putting -1 here, followed by -10, -20, -3, -5, -1 I am passing here. What I expect from this? -1 I expect from this. -1 I am expecting. So in such case, if it is returning -1, the test is succeeding, otherwise test is failing. That means there is some problem in the code, you need to come to conclusion. Like that it is. It is testing only. You are testing it.
I'm sorry, Professor.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I mean, this is so easy. It's like, why do we need some kind of unit test? I mean, so if we always like do this kind of testing in our programs, why do we need actually something like JUnit or something is created just be like as an additional step? Because this is like very normal testing, like in all our programs.
Yes. But see, some time back, we were checking here with this. If you come to the piece of code here, no, not this one. This is only one example I am showing you, but there can be multiple tests. You may be having multiple methods. Multiple methods are available. Otherwise, you need to test each and every method manually there. You need to go to this one here, not this exactly where it is. Okay, this is the class, not even this, here this one. Okay, what happens like this is just one method you are doing like this, but you may be having so many methods. So many methods are available like this for you, and they may be little complex. These are very simple ones. That's why, I mean, you feel why this is required here. But at times what happens, so many methods we need to test, that too manually. So for testing each and every method manually, what you have to do, you need to write like this. You need to input data. First of all, you need to change here code you need to change. You call as appropriate method there, then you need to input data, whether it's working correct or not, you need to identify there. So instead of that, you can write all test cases, you can assign values at one time only, you can be running it. So you can run at one time only. That's going to be fast testing when compared with the manual testing. Manual testing here, we can do a mistake. We can assume that everything is working fine here. When you run this, what happens? Everything is fine, we can assume here. There is a chance of assuming that everything is fine in this case. Okay, but there what happens? Assertion fails. When assertion is failing, automatically it's going to tell us so and so test is failed. So why test is failing? Then you can explore that. It is having many advantages. Whatever test cases you have written, all of them can be executed at one time only. At one time only they can be executed. Even you can make a report of that automatically. So that's the advantage of the automation. So with automation, main thing is what manually what we can do with the automation. There is no doubt about that. What we cannot do cannot be done by the automation. But whatever you can do, that is done with the automation. But it's going to do very fast when compared with ourselves. So, and one more thing is what reliability is more. So it can accurately test. It can accurately test whatever bugs are there. It can expose. If test is failing, in such case, you definitely expose. But here, what is the possibility of finding here? I mean, how can you find out here whether test is failing or succeeding? So unless you explore like this, unless you peek into this, poke into this particular data, array, then when you check, in that case only find. Otherwise, you assume everything is working fine only. Because if you take first example, when you test methods, it's working fine. You think that everything is fine. You may not be trying with the second one. So without trying the second one, you may certify that the method is fine. It works everywhere. You can think. But when you try to give some different assertions there, when you test it, in such cases, what happens? It can tell you whether method is succeeding or method is failing. So why it is failing also, it can tell you there. So because of that, here unit testing is required. So it can test at one time only all the things.
I have another question. How is that possible that in a company, testers and application developers be two different persons? Testers should know the complete programs very. So it's impossible that it be two different persons.
No. See, here this is what unit testing. That's why what we say JUnit is unit testing. It is nothing but unit testing. It's not complete testing. It is not actually any substitute for complete testing. It's only unit testing. Before developer gives something to the tester, it has to be tested thoroughly by developer also. Developers should not ignore actually. So here with the help of the JUnit, they can be exploring the test case, whatever methods are there, they can expose and they can test thoroughly the unit testing. So with the help of this, what happens when it goes to the real-time tester, the tester will have only few bugs. These are actually very simple bug. Easily this can be detected, this can be modified. So instead of that, if you pass this particular method with bugs to the tester has to put effort, then tester has to give you how the bug is coming there. He has to reproduce the steps and everything. It's going to be time consuming. Time will be wasted there. So instead of that, developer, he himself or herself can test it and can fix here itself. That would be better. So this is the main idea of the JUnit. So automatically it can be tested. You just write the test cases. Then after that, whatever results you are expecting with sample data, you can test always sample data. Whatever sample data you pass, try to assert there whether you are getting correct result or not from the sample data. If it's getting, that means the test is successful. Otherwise, test is failure. So like that, at one time only you can test. This is not completely it's not a substitute for the tester. Tester is definitely required, but this is what actually unit testing. So when you make application, you can give the application with few bugs. There is, I don't say that you are going to give totally bug free, but you can give with only few bugs. Otherwise, the bugs can be actually multiplied like that. More and more bugs simply introduced and sent to the tester. So it's going to be time wasting both for the developer as well as for the tester. You can reduce such things with the help of the JUnit. Using JUnit, automatically you are going to unit test. It is basically unit testing. It is not any substitution, as I told, for tester. It's only for the developer to test it thoroughly. So with the help of this unit test, they can test. Then after that, whatever the code is completed, if it's working fine, then you can dispatch to the testing people. They can test it. At that time, they can be finding some unforeseen bugs. Some may be hidden still, which you cannot detect with the help of the unit testing. So that may be probably with integration testing or other kind of testings you can get there. So at the time of integration, you may be getting few bugs, few errors. So they can be exposed. But as far as functionality of method is concerned, you can test thoroughly here with the help of the unit test. So you can assert some dummy data, whether it's succeeding or not, you can find out. You can pass different type of data. If test is failing, why it is failing, you can further explore that. You can rectify easily. So if you run test case, this advantage you can have. JUnit is basically made for developers, not for the testing people there. It's not for testing people, it's only made for the developers, and we call it as unit testing. So unit testing is basically for the developers only. As soon as you finish code, you are going to test. But manually when you test, some areas what happens, you may not be covering all the things like in the example I have shown you. So there can be some bug leak that you can overcome with the help of the unit test only. So as you practice more and more, you appreciate all these things. So definitely when you start practicing, when you develop more and more code, at that time you feel it's very much handy. So it's going to be really very much useful. Unit testing, you can test all the methods at one time only with the help of the JUnit. See, not only with the Java, this JUnit is used these days with different types of environments. Like in the .NET, they use NUnit testing. Okay, so this comes under basically extreme programming. We call it as XP. You might be knowing about extreme programming, XP that is. This is also called as actually pair programming. We call it as even pair programming. So there, two programmers, they work at one system, they are trying to code that. It comes under extreme programming. So this is also called as TDD, test driven development. This is nothing but here, test driven development approach. So with the help of this, you can easily find. As long as the method is giving you error, that means what? That method is not complete, method has to be completed, you start modifying complete. So once you modify the method, once everything is working fine, that means it's not having bugs. Like that you can come to conclusion. So this is one of the approaches we use for the TDD also. It's called as test driven development approach. These days people are adopting TDD because you don't waste resources. I mean, developer has to test, then similarly testing person also has to test. But unit testing, if the testing person is doing, there is no meaning. So the developer should be doing, and that doing the automated process that the person is doing, then definitely you can have better results. So for that purpose, we use the unit testing concept. This is JUnit. With the help of that, we could do it. We discuss more tomorrow on this. Here, how further it can be used. More somewhat complex examples I try to give there. Then assert equals, assert true, assert false, then assert null, assert like this not null. These different attributes also, these different methods also you can be using. These are part of the assert class. If you look at this, you have assert class. Using assert class only, we are doing all these things. If you come to this point here, we use not this one. Yes, here this is. We use org.junit.assert.star. Assert is a class. Here all these are nothing but static methods. That's why we have written import static. We have written import static, whether we are doing it. So assert equals is a static method. Using this keyword, we can use it. We are just expecting some value from the given collection. If it's matching, it gives true value. Otherwise, it gives some error. It's going to be giving false value. Graphically, you can see it. Once again, let me run this. Showing like this way. It is expecting here. If you expand, if you see here, assertion error, expected -1, but gave 0 there. Like this, you can find it. This will be definitely useful. Unit testing is going to be very much useful because time will not be wasted first of all. So code, which is not thoroughly tested, if it's sent to tester, tester's time is going to be getting wasted. That's why developer, he himself or herself can test thoroughly with the help of the JUnit. But simply if you use JUnit, it will not work. You need to give proper assumptions there. You need to expect proper expected value and you need to pass their data. With the help of that, you have to test. If it's working fine, that means if it's returning true value, working fine. Otherwise, it's a failure. Like that, you can come to conclusion. The example what we have taken is very simple, but in complex examples, it can be useful. So here it is only, I assumed there int max equal to some 0, then followed by iterating over the array. Since in the array all are negative values, definitely the maximum value is not getting changed. Therefore, expected value -1, but here it's giving you only 0. Because max value you have taken 0, since 0 is greater than -10, -20, -3, -5, -1, it is never taking, any of these values are never taken there. So because of that, we are getting the value as 0 there. But if you change it in the other way, definitely it is going to be fine. It can work properly for us. We come to this here, by changing here max equal to, we kept here 0. So instead of that, I can modify code, then in that case always it can be giving you correct value. Here what I do, I put like this, max equal to, write like this, num of I, that is, I put here, num of I put here. But when that is
Hello?
here, if condition, if I equal to 0, in such case only I assign value, otherwise I don't assign such value there. I'm going to assign like that. If I equal to 0, in such cases I can be assigning. Okay, max equal to, I put some value 0 here. Now with the help of this, I can be solving problem. Always the test is going to be succeeding. In both the cases, that can be now succeeding. If I try to run this now, both the cases it can run properly. So go to this, then try to test this one here. So it is succeeding. All the cases it's going to be succeeding here. What it says, there are no failure in this because there was some logic problem. Due to logic problem, it was failing. But when I corrected here, everything is working fine. When I change code in this, it's going to be working. Like this, first of all, you write some piece of code. When you write some piece of code, you know what value you are expecting from that. If that value you are getting, it means what? The test is working fine. Otherwise, test is not, the function, the method is not working fine. You can come to conclusion. So that way it can be helping you.